Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the RCG core session recordings. Last we left off in core session 3, we talked about contacting professors and campus offices, as well as a variety of support resources available to you as UW Huskies. Talked about support in terms of academics, emotional, and even English language learning support. Today we have course session number 4, where we will talk about general life hacks. What do we mean by that? Well, we'll be covering making friends and finding community at the UW, talk about housing both on and off campus, talk about food and shopping, as well as transportation and some of our top destinations. And then we'll close off with some personal recommendations. And in essence, yes, we'll be talking about living as a college student, as a UW Husky. So before we begin, I'd like to acknowledge that, double skip. I'd like to acknowledge that depending on where you're coming from, the degree of culture shock you'll experience coming into the United States will vary, but there's always going to be some new part of the culture that you'll have to familiarize yourself with. So we recommend checking out the Circle Cultural Adjustment website, which I'll show you right now. So on our website, under our new students page, we have a number of checklists before and after arrival, and under the transition page, we have many very helpful resources for you to check out. And we'll come back to this page quite often during today's session. The one I'd like to highlight right now is cultural adjustment, where we talk about cultural shock, the experience of adapting to what's different and adapting to I think I'm trying to think of a good example of something I experienced. Well, for starters, it was definitely a bit of a jump going into a country where they drive on the right side with the driver's seat in the left-hand side of the vehicle. There's also a bit of a transition understanding the imperial system. So Fahrenheit instead of Celsius, feet instead of meters, and pounds instead of kilograms. And of course, we have some tips on our website. We recommend you take a look. We also have some other resources, such as idioms or Americanisms, basically different phrases of speech people commonly use in the United States that would be helpful to sort of understand. And of course, if you need individual support, you can make an appointment with us through Circle. So with that piece out of the way, let's talk about part 1, making friends and finding community. Now, at UW, you'll have the opportunity of meeting many, many people from a variety of backgrounds. And so, as you go through, it'll be up to you to decide who you'll be trying to get closer to as friends and where you'll find your own community. So, while this journey looks different for different people, we can say for certain that there are a few places that we really recommend you start your search. First of all, we have RSOs. RSO, another acronym at the UW, stands for Registered Student Organization. Think of them like clubs. So essentially, they're run by students, and they might have a leadership structure like a president, vice president. They might not. And there are over 1,000 RSOs at the UW, each of them based in maybe academics, maybe culture, maybe a hobby, or maybe some other interests. With so many of them out, we really recommend you check out and sign up for a few RSOs in your first year. I mean, the vastness of this, I cannot even begin to do it justice, considering that there's even a lettuce eating club at the UW. So you can learn more about RSOs during the UW Student Activities Fair, which is colloquially also called the RSO Fair, where a lot of RSOs will set up tents, and you can speak to members or speak to leaders to understand what they do, what they're about, and how you can join. Now, on the topic of things happening before classes start, we have another set of programs similar to the RSO Fair. So first off, we have NSTP, the New Student and Transfer Programs, hosts the Dog Days. Dog Days is a week, I think exactly, it's more like 10 days of events right before classes start. And these are events like zoo trips, lawn games, RSO fairs, late night carnivals. They're mostly free to attend. I recommend you check out the Dog Days website. we'll take a quick peek. And so on the Dog Days website, you can learn more about the events, or you can follow their Instagram to stay updated. So you can take a look. We have walking tours, another self-guided tour, Dog Days info booth. So we have, looks like a pool game session. Oh, Circle Grad Day by us. Circle mini resource fairs, the Taste of Dub hacks. I think that's a hackathon RSO. So yeah, just plenty of resources. Take a look, plan out your dog days. I really recommend that you make the most of it and try to go to as many events as you can. On our end, from Circle, we offer IWP, which stands for International Welcome Programs. This is a roughly 2-week period with events that are designed to help international students transition to the UW and the US. So some of the events you saw when I was looking through Dog Days, like the Mini Resource Fair. It's a smaller version of our post-arrival resource fair, where we welcome students to come in and we help you with connect with our partners like US Bank, AT&T, Bank of America, Husky Mobile, and they get you set up with your bank account or your carrier service. We also have family welcomes in case you're coming here with your family. We have some IKEA trips so you can get your furniture set up, and we have so much more, and we'll learn more about it as we get closer. Another way people find friends and community is Greek life. This might be a new concept for some of you. Greek life is a system of sort of fraternities, which are brotherhoods and typically for male presenting students, male identifying students. And we have sororities for female identifying students, a sisterhood. The idea is that they are social clubs where you'll kind of live with your clubmates. It's a full system. I can't get into the full details of it since I personally haven't experienced it. We recommend checking it out. They're very different depending on which one you join. Some are very social and host a lot of parties and events, while some are more academic or career oriented. And so we recommend that if you consider it, just really look into it and learn more about it on your own, because the process to join Greek life, I believe, is quite the commitment. And once you enter, it's also a bigger commitment because you will be living with them, and there might be other club events or activities that you're expected to be a part of. Lastly, we have beyond the weeks of classes starting and everyone getting used to and settling in, we have a few programs. We'll highlight 2 of them. First and foremost is Circle of Friends, and you can see me pictured to the right with some of my coworkers with Circle of Friends. So Circle of Friends is a program hosting 2 events every week. These events range from casual mixers and fun game nights to information sessions or student panels or guest panels. This is open to all UW students, domestic, international, undergraduate, graduate, transfer, exchange. It's a space of support and community. And one of the things we highlight is that for a lot of these events, there's no strict expectation. You're free to come when you want. You're free to leave when you want. And well, hopefully this will be a place where you'll find some friends or maybe even find community. Unite UW is another program under Circle where we host a cohort every quarter. So in a quarter, we'll take 45 domestic students and 45 international students, and you'll need to apply to join the program. But once you do, you'll be placed into 3 groups, each equally divided. And these groups will meet every week to have an event together. And then the whole cohort will meet on the weekends to have a larger event. And I believe there's also a retreat where you'll get to go out to a cabin, I think, and then you really get to know people. Unite is great if you want to find that sort of community, and it's a very fast way that a lot of people found some very close bonds over these retreats or over the program. So even though it's only 1 quarter long and most students can only experience it for 1 quarter, it's a very, very good experience, and I highly recommend it. Of course, if you want to help out as one of the organizers, you can apply, and then I think that's the only way to return and do Unite more than once. So hopefully that helps you get a sense for how you might start with looking for friends or looking for community. Now let's talk about housing. On-campus housing, which is going to be the choice for many of you, offers many great benefits like, well, the obvious, you're already on campus, you're very close to everything, all the lecture halls, a lot of study spaces, a lot of dorm events. So I know the hall councils host a lot of fun events. Like I remember in first year attending a pottery event and some, I think there was a ball, like a mass dance. It was very cool. But yes, those are some advantages. The disadvantages that come are, for a lot of students, they'll feel that it's fairly restricted. There's a lot of policies, and now those policies are there for your own safety. We recommend you go through the respective move-in pages. So I'll show you an example. This is the 9-month move-in page. And as you go through it, there's a guide on how to move in. You'll get an email from HFS regarding your move-in appointment. And this is a guide on how to check in. Now, what I want you to pay attention to is what you should bring, and we'll talk more about these items later, and what not to bring. This is the more important piece. These are not allowed. This is for your own good, but don't bring these, halogen lamps, space heaters, air conditioners. They're not allowed in on-campus housing. Yes. Well, take a look at it at your own time. And of course, on our website, so if you go back to our transition page, we have a what to pack. Check it out. It fills out all of the essentials like legal documents to make sure you can smoothly enter the country, as well as other essentials, and some personal recommendations for what we think you should bring. Now, it's not recommended for first years. I say this from my own personal experience, but a lot of students do consider off-campus housing in their later years. So if you are interested in off-campus housing for your second year, right after your first, we recommend that you start your search for an apartment as soon as you can. Because a lot of apartments around campus are for students, so there's going to be many people already looking for it. You should get to the search right away, just to maximize your chances of getting a place at a decent price. So some things to consider, other than just the rent of a location when you look for off-campus housing, are, well, location, how close is it? Can you get to campus? Amenities, like do they have a gym? Do they provide free internet? Do they have, how's their security like? And then cost of utilities. We cover all of this, again, on our website, where we have a section detailing a guide to off-campus housing. So check that out. Take a look. Off-campus housing, one of the advantages and disadvantages is that it goes for 1 full year, 12 months. So if you're staying for the summer, that's great. You don't have to move out and find another place once your 9-month housing lease ends. But if you're going home for the summer, now you have an extra thing to think about. Like what's going to happen? You can't just not pay rent for those months. You might need to find a replacement. But these are all things to consider when it comes to on or off-campus housing for your second year. Next, we'll talk about food and shopping. It's more fun, I think. The UW Dining Program, for those of you on campus and those of you who are off campus, provides services that are open to both groups. They have dining halls, I believe Center Table on North Campus and Local Point on West. They have cafes, the Husky Grind Cafe and a few others. They have stores called district markets. And there's one district market on either of the West or North Campus. And of course, there are, actually not, of course, this is not so commonly known. On West Campus, they have a restaurant-style dining hall called Cultivate. All of these locations I've listed will take your Husky card with your dining plan. Now, if you don't have a dining plan or a Husky card, don't worry, you can still pay for it with your debit or credit card. On the topic of the dining plan, now this is required for all students living on campus and some choices that have to be made. So there are 6 levels. If you don't finish your balance in the quarter, the leftover will carry to the next quarter, but it won't carry to the next year. So if you're at spring quarter and you still have a lot of money left, Going to have to finish it up. Otherwise, well, that's just money lost, money wasted. That's why we recommend starting at level 1 or level 2, and then you can just sort of adjust accordingly. Because if you start with the level 1 plan and you run out of money in your first quarter, no worries. You can just top up more money, or you can use your debit or credit card until the next quarter. And then you can say, all right, maybe I need to increase it. Or maybe you'll have money left over and decide that, all right, maybe you need to use your dining plan more, or maybe you don't really need to spend that much money. So the I guess the main thing I'm trying to say is be more conscious about how much of your dining plan you're actually using. You don't really want to waste money by having a level 3 or 4 dining plan and just not using any of it. Now, a lot of students consider eating off campus. There's a lot of off campus options all across Seattle, all across the US, for those of you willing to travel far and wide. But the closest option and very popular among the students is the Ave. It's an area right west of the UW, and it's populated by a number of stores, cafes, and restaurants. Now, this is off campus. So what we say to you every time is to be cautious. If you're going out late at night, and a lot of people do because a lot of the restaurants and stores are open late, please be careful. You should refer to course session number 3, where we talk about some safety contacts, or look at our featured session number 4 recording. In the second half, we talk about some good safety practices and safety resources. On the topic of places to eat on the Ave, well, let's quickly go there. Let's go to Google Maps. So this is campus, and this is like the general Ave area. I know it doesn't look very exciting on Google Maps. Well, my recommendation's already up. I really recommend Sizzle and Crunch. Love the place. They give you a good portion of food, and the food is well-rounded. You can get vegetables, eggs, meat, rice all at once, which is why I love it. So yeah, highly recommend it. They also do banh mi if you prefer a sandwich type rather than a salad or a rice bowl. The other area is the U Village. Now, the U Village, looks like my Google Maps is arguing with me. Great. So this is the general North Campus area that I'm hovering over right now. And so on the East Stevens Way Road, there is a bus stop. You can see what it looks like. You can take the 372, or I believe it will be called the 72 by the time you arrive here, and the 75. They'll go down this road and they'll drop you off at either the west or the south side of this area called the U Village. Very popular place. There's all sorts of restaurants. It's a little pricier than the Ave, but some places aren't too bad, like Chipotle or arguably Shake Shack. They're not too expensive. And of course, there is QFC. QFC is a very nice place, and we'll talk about it a bit, because it's a place with all of your daily essential requirements: toothpaste, toilet paper, detergent. They also have groceries, snacks, food, plenty of discounts. We'll talk about those discounts in a moment. You can also order online from Amazon or Target if you want to get some essential items before you arrive. Now, dorms will accept packages up to 7 days before your assigned move-in date. Now, this is really important. Bringing in bed sheets, pillows, blankets is very heavy, will make your suitcases very bulky. What we recommend instead is to have these things either you buy them when you get here, or you have them shipped to your dorm and arrive within those 7 days before your move-in date. So you can just pick them up on campus, and you save yourself a lot of trouble without having to bring everything from across the world. Now, if you're interested in larger furniture, you can buy them at IKEA through our Circle IWP IKEA trip on the 29th of September. Highly recommend it. We'll have a very big charter bus with plenty of luggage space so you can bring your stuff back. Now, perfect. So as you dine and shop and you go around places, good thing to keep in mind are student discounts. Many locations and companies offer discounts for students, and they usually take the Husky card when you go in person. If it's an online service, if you sign up with your uw.edu Gmail, you might be able to avail some student discounts. So not quite a student discount, but QFC, if you sign up for an account, you can use your phone number to get some additional discounts at checkout. You can download the QFC app to get some digital coupons to save you some extra money. Student Beans in general is a service where they show you a number of available discounts around the world. Let's take a look. Yeah, I know there's a lot on the screen right away, so take your time to see if there's something you're interested in, like 10% off H&M. That's just a nice general item. So yeah, take your time, consider it. Amazon Prime, I'm not sure if they're still doing it, but I believe if you sign up or show that you are a student, you get 6 months of free Amazon Prime. So consider. Textbooks are a common reason why people go shopping. Now, the downside is they're pretty expensive in the US. So here's some alternative recommendations from our end. You can get used textbooks, either online or through used bookstores. You can rent textbooks, either physically or, again, online. You can rent a digital e-textbook. You can also borrow these textbooks from the UW library or other libraries. And some professors might not require a textbook for their class, or they might offer them through a PDF download. I have had some professors who wrote their own textbooks, so they were able to just give you a link. One thing I'll add is that you do not need to worry about purchasing a textbook before the first day of class. My recommendation is to go to the first day or the first few days of class and then see how much you really need the textbook. In my personal experience, a lot of these classes, they bring the material out of the textbook and into the lecture. And so there isn't too much value you get out of buying, out of spending a lot of money on a textbook. If you can still get it for cheap or used, that's great. But if you can't, don't stress about it. So take your time and see. And of course, I've also had experiences where, this is a personal tip, you can speak to your professors. I've had a class where I was really passionate. I was always, talking to my professors, asking questions. And when I had some issues with purchasing a textbook for, I think it was a following class, they were kind enough to help me find some used textbooks I could use instead. So yeah, always another helpful tip. So next we have transportation. So your Husky card, again, the star of today's show, contains a U-Pass. So every quarter that you pay tuition, you pay for a U-Pass. And this U-Pass acts as your fare ticket for buses, the light rail, fast ferries that go across the water, and even more. So you can use these to travel around King County, I believe a little more, and you can explore locations beyond just campus and the Ave or U Village. So some general tips. If you're trying to go east to west, or you're just trying to go a short distance, take the bus. The light rail, which you can see a map here, largely goes north to south, but they cover very long distances. The one line is the line that will take you all the way down to the airport and back. The two line will take you across the water. And I can just show you a reference here. The two line will take you across the water to another city called Bellevue and all the way up to Redmond. These are worth checking out and exploring after you get a little bit more situated and comfortable in the US and taking the light rail and the bus. So our destinations for you that we recommend, check out Pike Place. You can take the light rail, either the 1 or 2, and you can get off at Westlake. Go to Gasworks Park. You can either walk there or take the 31 or 32 bus. The Seattle Center, that has the Space Needle, as well as the Chihuly Glass Garden. We recommend checking it out. There's Chinatown, which you can take the light rail all the way down to International District. And then Bellevue Square. It's a huge shopping mall, very worth checking out. I really enjoy going there. Not too often, it's too far from my personal preference, but I think it's a great place to see. It's very beautiful. Well, we'll close off with some personal recommendations from my end. Well, for starters, buying new is expensive. Consider used or refurbished options, and you have to be careful because there's a lot of people that might try to scam you. So some options for buying new or used. Amazon Renewed is great. I use that a lot for a lot of my tech. Facebook Marketplace, also great for buying used items or things people are trying to get rid of. You might even get free things from Facebook Marketplace. Just be a little cautious. eBay as well is a common option for used items. And same thing goes for all of them. Just try to be cautious of scams. Try to do your research if you can. Now, a lot of cool spots around campus to explore. We have a very large, very beautiful campus. You should make the most of it. Some recommendations from my points that maybe other people won't say. Sylvan Grove. This is a secluded little place near South Campus. It's where the four pillars of life are. We have the IMA, the Intramural Activities Center. It's great. It's surprisingly big, and there are a lot of fun things inside it. Beyond the basics like the swimming pool or the basketball courts, there are the tennis courts. There's the climbing center if you want to get into that. They also have a room for pickleball, badminton, and squash, I believe. And you can also check out equipment there, so you don't need to have everything for these sports. And of course, join an RSO. Cannot ever can't really over exaggerate how helpful it is to join an RSO to find a community for yourself. And with that, we come to the end of course session number 4. Thank you for attending as always. So some quick recap. We talked about making friends. We talked about food, housing, shopping, all the fun stuff. We talked about transportation in Seattle. And as an added note, I hope that you found the personal recommendations useful and that you consider checking out our Circle New Students page for all of the helpful resources we have put up there. Now we look forward to seeing you at the next video in this playlist, which should be course session number 5. We'll talk about arriving in the US, and some topics we'll cover include entering the United States and entering the UW, moving in, getting set up. And of course, we'll leave you with some final tips and final advice from our end. With that, thank you very much as always for attending, and I hope to, well, see you on campus.